Hi everyone, it is, excuse me, April 2nd, 2024. Hello, Lindy London, Rage Against the Machine, Alicia DeMoss. You stay safe, Alicia, because these storms are not looking good at all. The string, the training supercells is what we're looking at all the way from Mississippi, Tennessee, Kentucky, into Ohio. Got another train here in Indiana, swirling about. Rain up here in Michigan and Wisconsin, sorry. And New England is getting it as well, but these do not look good. So it's, springtime, summertime. Be careful. All right, these portend destruction, tornadic activity, hail, high winds, severe thunderstorms, all kinds of extreme weather. But you have it also here in Alabama, down here in Mississippi. Oh boy, do I hope you're all safe. College of DuPage. Look, I mean, they grow them. You can actually see them growing. The nanobot lines. That was not supposed to come up, but look at all of these extremely low frequencies cutting through the precipitation. Also shooting at the periphery. Boy, oh boy. You got more nanobots up. Oh, you got a circle of nanobots here in Iowa. You can see the frequencies out here. Where are we? Is this Virginia or West Virginia? Right here. Not good. But as you can see, the frequencies are coursing, through it. You can see people call them pie cutouts. Okay, well, they're cut out because of extremely low frequencies that are used to control, to manipulate, to moderate, to intensify storms, and that's what we seem to get all the time. Look at this. Whoa. And can you see what is essentially a nanobot line going in opposite direction of the storm and hooks up right here and creates more supercells. You see this little line? You gotta look carefully. Let's see if we can get closer. Oh, let's see if this is it. Yes. All right, so this blue-green well, it's not even precipitation. I do believe that is nanobots. And as you can see, it's moving in the wrong direction. These storms are going up northeast. This is coming down southwest. But watch when it interferes with this manufactured line of supercells. Right here is the connection. And it's not moving further southwest. It's captured. Boom, Boom, boom. Got it. So this is happening in Tennessee. Oh boy. When I see this, I don't really like to look at the weather reports the next day or late at night. So yes, Alicia, be very careful. All of you in this line right here, Tennessee, on up to Ohio, Kentucky. Be careful, Mississippi, Alabama, and Indiana. So Mike Luft and Julie C. and Lindy London, yes, I said hello. Andrew Cruz. Kenosis. Lee Harworth. I haven't seen you in a while. I hope you're doing okay. Christy Hazelwood. And Shauna Howard. Barb in Ohio. And Demarque. Is it Demarque or Demarcus? Nah, Demarque. Eminem. Raining hard for 2 days and we'll stop on Thursday. Oh, good. Something to look forward to. Several tornadoes in West Virginia. James Brandenburg. You already had tornadoes in West Virginia? Because I did a tornado search, but I came up with this, Lexington, Kentucky. And this was, let's see, I think it happened today at the University of Kentucky campus and during a tornado warning today. Yes, this is what is essentially ordinary weather now. It's severe, but it's just the common ordinary weather that we get. So, tornadoes in West Virginia. Okay. Silent Walk, hello. T. Lamb and Sherry Hughes, thank you very, very much. Rick Yorkin, Tinfoil Tahara, Wonder Why, Donna Davidson, and Jake M., Kim Blanchard, Sir Swiper, and Super Painting 62. So yeah. And, you know, I just have this feeling, it's just a feeling, that before April 8th, we may see quite a lot of severe weather. Because if anything happens on April 8th, we don't know. And I'm not talking about, the skies are going to be darkened for a few minutes. I'm talking about all of the warnings that they have been giving. The biological attack, the grid going down, no cell phone service, no 911 service, make sure that you stock up on food and gas and all of these warnings. It would be, I try to think how the evil think. And I can't quite, match their thinking. But if I wanted to really, let's say a biological attack on April 8th, I would want to weaken an awful lot of the population prior to that. In other areas, maybe even in close proximity to the solar eclipse. I don't have anything else to do, so I just think. So, madness still happening in Texas.
So I wanted to update y'all on what's going on in Texas. We have over 1 million acres of farmland that has been burned and ruined. And not only that, we have Texas Forest Service that is going into these ranchers' properties and dozing up the land. They're not even dozing the burned areas. They're ruining the remaining feed and grasses that they do have. And we don't know why they're doing this. So let me know what y'all think about this in the comments. Make sure to share this around. We need to stand up for what's right. And remember, guys, buy American and buy local.
They're dozing up the land. They're dozing up the land that wasn't burned, getting rid of grass to feed the cattle. Don't know why that's happening. It's happening because the destruction is just, it's escalating. It's on a scale that is incomprehensible, not just in our country, but all over. Wow. I mean, it's going to get to the point where so many people, there's going to be far more people struggling. And we might have already hit that mark where more people are struggling than are not. And yesterday, I included in the live, who was it that was saying, 1 in 2 Americans will be depressed. I can't remember. But depression's going to kill a lot of people. I hope you're ready for that. You might know some. And it sure will. Considering that we are facing a very chaotic, violent, we're already facing that, but it's really going to get an awful lot worse. So maybe we should just thank those who are depressed and won't have the energy to get violent. Part of famed California highway crumbles into ocean. Highway 1, south of Rocky Creek Bridge, on the Big Sur coast. Destruction, destruction, destruction. A lot of people will say, well, they did get a lot of rain. They also get a tremendous amount of extremely low frequencies blasting away on the California coast. That could weaken the roads, the mountains, the coastline. The nation's first natural gas ban is repealed. Ah, good. Oh, but advocates seek other ways to ban the stoves. They're gonna do it. City of Berkeley, California, announced it is repealing its ban on natural gas hookups in new construction. The law passed in 2019 was the first of its kind in the United States. All right, so it didn't pass, but these people who are control freaks, who have an agenda, who are evil, they don't stop. It's amazing the kind of energy they have. And fighting them, unfortunately, they exhaust those who want to fight against their agenda. Baltimore Bridge was a cyber attack, an economic nuke against America.
Information on the infrastructure side of this and how big this is and how well this might have looked like if you were going to carry out a terrorist attack on the United States, if you were going to carry out an infrastructure attack on the United States, where would you go? Well, according to experts, whoever did this and carried out this cyber attack chose the best spot in the United States to do this. Because now we're getting, as Michael Yon tweeted earlier today, this is basically an economic nuclear strike on the United States. If you think about how the inflow of ships coming in are now affected and the outflow of ships leaving the port of Baltimore are struck. A major infrastructure hit, as he writes. The port of Baltimore is a major port serving Baltimore, Washington, D.C. All of the shipping north of the bridge is now trapped in place. No other shipping can get in. The tunnel shown in different images, of course, has a height and hazardous cargo restriction, so it can't get out. So all of the hazardous cargo. We learn now, of course, the dozens of shipping containers filled with hazardous chemicals and those that have now leached chemicals into the harbor. It's going to be, first of all, it took years to build the Francis Scott Key Bridge. How long will it take for them to clear this debris and get it open to at least get back to some sort of normalcy? It's going to be months, if not years, until they can do this. Go ahead, David.
And you have to think of how much stuff actually comes to the East Coast, because they'd have to go all the way around to the West Coast to ship things. That's a major port.
Right. It's absolutely
coming from.
It's the second busiest, second most important port in the United States. And so they really hit the right target at the right time and caused the maximum amount of damage here. And for those of you that think that this is just one simple incident here, it also affects the United States and military and the fast response ships that, of course, that are trapped inside of this port right now. In addition to which, if you think about the cyber attacks here and how this is not just this attack. This is multiple helicopter crashes. This is multiple attacks on other targets in the United States. And you're seeing it, but we're not getting any attention paid to it. Like, why there's no discussion about this? Because I think it maybe they don't want to admit that we're vulnerable, that we're this vulnerable now to these types of attacks. It's kind of unbelievable, as Joshua Reed.
We are very vulnerable to these types of attacks because they're just going to let them happen regardless of who is attacking. Marsha, I read your comment about a 75-year-old woman who needs prayers because she might go homeless. Where was that? And she needs more than prayers. An awful lot of the elderly, if the community would get together, if you're in a city, let's say, of 50,000, if every person just gave $1, just $1 a month, a tremendous amount of money could accumulate in a very fast period of time, and they could help the elderly stay where they are. Okay. Because prayers without action is dead. North Carolina State alumni report 150 plus cancer cases possibly stemming from contaminants in the shut down campus building. I swear, it's like you can't go anywhere that is just not toxic anymore in this country. Everywhere. I was finishing up my finals and I was going in for a physical at the health center. I was having night sweats for weeks and weeks before this, and I could not figure out what was happening. An alumna, Christy Lewis. I was having to get up in the middle of the night and change clothes completely, and then I would fall asleep and I had to put a towel down. It honestly took me weeks to even tell my husband about them because I kept on forgetting about it because it was just in the middle of the night. it's hard to figure out where you got what you have, since these attacks are really coming from every which way. Your neighbor, 75 years old, got a 60-day notice. He was under a lot of stress, trying to find a place. He had a stroke and died. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, Jesus says to party like a rock star. Okay. U.S. cotton mills are rapidly closing. There were nearly 900 U.S. cotton mills operating around the 1890s. That number today is 100, and more are closing down. We don't produce anything in our country anymore. So Biden budget, he's shelling out $320 million for border walls for Oman, Lebanon, Jordan, Egypt, and Tunisia. Okay. Yeah, this is what... Oh... It is truly amazing. You know, Americans know, on the left side, on the right side, that Americans are getting screwed. Every day. Every day. To the point of death. That's quite the screwing. And all of this money goes to either illegal migrants or other countries. Build the walls in other countries. Help them keep their borders safe. You really do have to wonder what the hell is wrong with Americans. Well, I didn't want to leave. So what is this? What is this? Oh, a Denver official caught on tape begging illegals to leave the city. Please, go to Chicago, go to New York. You know, they have longer-term shelters. There are also more job opportunities there. Just get out of Denver. We can't handle it. New York gives you more. Chicago gives you more. Wow.
Opportunities are over. That's Andres Carrera, political director for Denver Mayor Mike Johnston.
Nueva York te da más, Chicago te da más. Entonces sugiero que vaya por allá, donde hasta también con un albergue de más largo plazo, también hay más oportunidades de trabajo por allá.
Carrera is Denver's so-called newcomer communications liaison. That means that he meets the busloads of new arrivals. The city says this group got here on March 26, sent up by Texas's Republican Governor Greg Abbott. He warns them the jobs, the resources, the opportunities have already gone to the 40,000 migrants who came to Denver before them.
Hemos recibido demasiados migrantes y por eso se acabaron los recursos. Mira, no te vamos a bloquear. Si quieres permanecer aquí, no estoy aquí para bloquearte, estoy aquí para avisarte que tu camino no ha terminado. Si permanecen aquí, te vas a sufrir hasta más, y eso no lo quiero ver.
Parents listen quietly as children play on the floor, as Denver tells these families that have sometimes walked from one continent to another that
Oh, come on. They walked from one continent to the other. Sometimes I'm glad that I'm talking to people who know, because I can omit an awful lot of information because I'm just too tired, and I've done it over and over and over and over again. Blind Straight, don't inject race in the chat, okay? Racism, race. And if you do it again, all of your comments will be removed. Illegal immigrants given 7 times more taxpayer-funded benefits than military families. Huh. All right. Keep it up, Americans. Hey, what are you doing for dinner? What are you doing tomorrow? What are you doing for the weekend? You going on vacation? What's everybody doing? Oh, you can't because there's no money left? We should have been doing an awful lot throughout the years. It's so sad. 8 suspected migrants found squatting with guns, drugs in Bronx home.
8 people have been arrested at a home in the Norwood section of the Bronx. Guns and drugs were found in the same room as a 7-year-old child. Police say the people were squatting in that home. Eyewitness News reporter Sonia Rincon live in the Norwood section right now. Sonia, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Michelle. Yeah, 8 migrants under arrest and now facing charges after police responded to a call here on Hull Avenue last week. The police found guns, drugs, and a child inside the basement of this home right across from a school, a home the migrants were living in as squatters. This surveillance video obtained by Eyewitness News shows police moving in. They were responding to a call about a man with a gun. They chased one man into the basement. He's identified as 24-year-old Hector de Souza Villalta, believed to be a migrant from Venezuela. A second man, identified as 22-year-old Javier Alborno, tries to flee but is arrested. Police say he also had a gun. 4 of 8 suspects arrested here on Hull Avenue last week can be seen here with police walking them out. They are facing weapons, drugs, and child endangerment charges because police say there was a 7-year-old child staying with them. Since then, the NYPD says 6 of them have been released, including one already charged in another case.
2 of the people with the guns had open cases, one for attempted murder in Yonkers and one walking around with an open gun indictment walking around.
After obtaining a search warrant, police say they recovered 2 more loaded guns and ammunition, as well as drugs, including ketamine mixed with cocaine. A neighbor tells us the landlord has been struggling with squatters.
You didn't know who was staying there or not staying there. And, the owner of the building had a hell of a time trying to get them out. How they got in, I don't know. But once they were in, because of New York City's laws regarding squatters, he couldn't get them out without going through the legal process.
This is going to really, oh boy, this is not good. People who are committing crimes just being released back on the streets, you would think that Americans in those cities would unite over that, right? No. Wow. Chicago woman demolished Migrant City Committee with powerful speech, and she did. And, oh, okay. Black Conservative 24, I have recommended people check out his channel, subscribe, because he puts up relatively short videos that are very, very poignant, relevant for sure, and I just like his style.
Speaker is Ariana Abonce.
I'd like to start off with something Edward Snowden, a whistleblower, once said. He said, when exposing a crime is treated as committing a crime, you are being ruled by criminals.
Wow.
Everyone in this room recognizes that what's happening surrounding the nonstop influx of illegal aliens is criminal.
Yep.
Everyone recognizes that something evil is among us, and Americans are not ready for the fundamental impacts this will have. In fact, we can't even fathom it because we've never seen anything like this. We have an administration that is run by criminals who hate America. That is why they protect these criminals.
That's a fact.
Police have been instructed from above to not mess with them. So no matter what these criminal aliens do, they're always released. It's not an accident. This is by design.
New York.
And we have a garbage media that gets paid for lousy coverage. We have a media that protects criminals. It seems as if every level of government has been bought out. It really makes you wonder how many seats in government have been bought out by foreign influence. And we have a government that uses language to weaponize the masses. They're not illegal aliens, they're asylum seekers. They're refugees. And they throw these terms around so that the people of America feel guilty. Because nobody wants to be a bad person. We all aim to be good. But there's a distinction between goodness and tolerance. There's a difference between goodness and naiveness. And unfortunately, I believe the majority of Americans are not acting out of a spirit of goodness, but rather out of a spirit of cowardliness and naiveness.
That's sad.
And we have the Committee on Immigrant and Refugee Rights, headed by anti-American Alderman Andrew Vasquez. Again, they really throw around those friendly terms, but I like to call them what they are: the pro-criminal committee, the anti-American committee. They are here not for people, but to destroy America. These groups are enemies of America. How many illegals are you housing in your home, Vasquez? Since you love them so much, house them in your own home. Use your own money to fund them. So I have a message to my fellow Americans who will watch this on TV or YouTube. Whose side are you on? Are you on the side of criminals, or are you on the side of this country? Stop feeling like you're a bad person for calling them illegals. Stop letting our enemies gaslight us into believing we are racist or anti-immigrant. You want to be a good person? A good person isn't a coward. A good person stands up for their neighbors, and they stand up for their country. I'll finish with my favorite Martin Luther King Jr. quote.
Shoot.
And I hope my fellow Americans ponder this. He once said, "The question is not whether we will be extremists, but what kind of extremists we will be. The nation and the world are in dire need of creative extremists."
Wow. Now, please listen to this.
We all agree on the need to better secure the border and to punish employers who choose to hire illegal immigrants. We are a generous and welcoming people here in the United States, but those who enter the country illegally and those who employ them disrespect the rule of law, and they are showing disregard for those who are following the law. We simply cannot allow people to pour into the United States undetected, undocumented, unchecked, and circumventing the line of people who are waiting patiently, diligently, and lawfully to become immigrants in this country.
All Americans not only in the states most heavily affected, but in every place in this country are rightly disturbed by the large numbers of illegal aliens entering our country. The jobs they hold might otherwise be held by citizens or legal immigrants. The public service they use impose burdens on our taxpayers. That's why our administration has moved aggressively to secure our borders more, by hiring a record number of new border guards, by deporting twice as many criminal aliens as ever before, by cracking down on illegal hiring, by barring welfare benefits to illegal aliens. In the budget I will present to you, we will try to do more to speed the deportation of illegal aliens who are arrested for crimes, to better identify illegal aliens in the workplace as recommended by the commission headed by former Congresswoman Barbara Jordan. We are a nation of immigrants, but we are also a nation of laws. It is wrong and ultimately self-defeating for a nation of immigrants to permit the kind of abuse of our immigration laws we have seen in recent years, and we must do more to stop it.
Seems like we are in a twilight zone, but God bless this lady for that amazing speech. I agree with everything she said, especially the fact that Everybody knows that what is happening to this country right now with illegal migration is wrong, plain and simple. And bro, this shouldn't be some type of right versus left issues or some type of race argument. We just have stupid elected officials, yes, I said it, stupid elected officials who have decided to stop working for the American people. I don't know who they're working for. You let me know in the comment section.
They're not stupid. They're treasonous. They're treasonous. This is deliberate. Deliberate. And some of the videos that I've posted, oh my God, people think it's capitalism. They think it's capitalism. The video that I posted on Never Lose Truth about the UK elderly, and they're doing the compulsory selling of their homes. Compulsory meaning government's going to force them to sell their homes for migrants. Yeah, the talk is that the elderly who live alone should not live in such big houses. Well, it's their house. There's also talk, UK jumping on the Canadian track, encouraging the elderly to kill themselves. You know, boy, I sure do wish that there was something that could evidence that we're moving in, or even that could give legitimate, real hope, not false hope, that we're moving in a direction that, could be good. That's why it's necessary to see it in our communities, in our real life, see it amongst one another. But yeah, we're worthless. When you hit a certain age, you're just worthless. And, talking about euthanizing the elderly. And the more they, drone on about how worthless elderly people are, you begin to feel it. You begin to feel that you are worthless, and why not? Why not go for euthanasia? The Senate calls out-of-control spending a national security threat. Now, they're calling the out-of-control spending that they have done and they keep doing? Okay. This is the lunacy, the idiocy, the slap in the face to Americans. Over $34 trillion and growing national debt threatens national security. No shit, Sherlock. A few days later, the bipartisan majority of the Senate voted for a $1.2 trillion spending bill. In addition to the usual increases in war, welfare spending, the bill funds gender transitioning for minors without parental consent, red flag laws, which allow law enforcement to seize an individual's firearms without due process. Oh, that reminds me, there was a guy, orange hair, I think? Yeah, in the White House. And he's for red flag laws. And what did he say? At a conference table with an awful lot of people? Red flag laws. Yeah, take the guns and due process later. Trump, get him in office. He's your savior. Teacher layoffs increasing across the United States. So when I go to that site, the Daily jobcuts.com, I've shown all of the districts that are laying off people in schools. It is going to increase and increase and increase. In fact, they have an awful lot of schools in just the recent days since I've been to daily job cuts. More and more losing their jobs. Jake M., there is a real obstacle, which you've known. You would co-sign if needed. Huh. All right. Okay. It's not just Anderson. All right. I need to post a video on my circumstances, and I can't, I just don't want to get into it right now. So, you know, I can't have somebody out of state co-sign for something in Anderson, South Carolina. And I don't want to get into me. So, 1 million simulations, one verdict for U.S. economy. Debt danger ahead. We are careening towards a very, very, very big wall. And boom, it's going to hurt when more and more hit it. And I don't understand why this continues to happen, because I took my ad blockers off and it continues, and now it's doing it on YouTube again. It's really pissing me off. Restaurant owner fears California minimum wage law is a silent tax on consumers, but this is going to hurt businesses. So it went into effect. Their $20 minimum wage law. How many restaurants, how many fast food places? You're going to see so many people laid off, their hours cut, and California's deficit is $222 billion. The state is $1.6 trillion in debt. But good that you outlaid some money for the illegal migrants who are receiving medical care, housing. Good. You know the list. You know the list is long for the migrants. Mass layoffs begin at California fast food chains as $20 minimum wage law takes effect. This is going to cripple business. It's led to higher menu prices, like an $18 Big Mac. That can't be true. Did anybody ever see an 18? Yes, that Big Mac meal may cost $18. But there's one good reason for it. Well, and it's not even nutritious. I'm trying to find the reason for it. In Darien, Connecticut, at a rest stop. New York City, Big Mac, medium fries, and a medium soda cost $13.89. Wow. And it's, I mean, you bite into that and you're literally shaving years of your life off. Gross domestic income shows America is in stagnation. I think America has been in stagnation for a very, very, very long time. Wages are not going up despite our fabulous leaders, quote unquote, claiming that wages have gone up. No, they are lying. And people are really hurting. I don't know what is anybody else experiencing, like, everywhere on the internet, like, I mean, problems like you're not getting any smooth streaming, retirement, $1.5 million. That's what you need for retirement. And most don't have any money for retirement. Americans who are close to retirement age. It's true. California governor. So, you're 1.6 trillion in debt. This guy's destroying your state, and he's, yay, putting up all of these high-tech cameras being installed along freeways and in Oakland to make the area safer. Really, the surveillance king and queen and dope and joker.
So today we're announcing 480 new cameras. These are referred to as flock cameras, which will aid and support the efforts of law enforcement to focus on stolen vehicles. This is proven technology where privacy is foundational and a core component of the effort. This is building on efforts we made just a few weeks ago with the surge of California Highway Patrol in partnership with the Department of Justice. By the way, that's led to already 200 arrests, over 400 vehicles that have been recovered that were otherwise stolen. Part of a broad strategy, not just a law enforcement only strategy, to begin to beautify this extraordinary.
I am so sorry. I really shouldn't be doing lives anymore. I can't stand these people. I literally, they so repulse me. I look down. I can't even look at the face. It's for surveillance, and you know it. But look at the job I'm doing. We're installing 480 new high-tech cameras. Yeah, to recover stolen vehicles. How about enforce the law? Start enforcing the law how it used to be enforced, and maybe criminals will think twice about doing things criminally. Idaho bans Medicaid for transgender procedures. Oh my God. Wow. It's applicable to both minors and adults. Well, good on Idaho, but the lefties are going to come after you. They're going to come after you, Bill or Brad Little. How misinformation is making us fear our food. And this article, I won't go to the Hill anymore. It's sickening, this article. And the person who wrote it, I opened up my Instagram feed to see a post describing what it feels like trying to avoid toxins in 2024. There's a picture of one of those little Tykes cars, the ones that our kids ride up and down the driveway, like Fred Flintstone, being chased on a busy highway by real cars labeled seed oils, soy, heavy metals, Monsanto, blue light, tap water, receipts, microplastics, glyphosate. A scary picture indeed, highly effective at appealing to our emotions. Social media algorithms are constantly feeding us content about the harms of everything we encounter in the real world. Videos of influencers with millions of followers running frantically down the aisles of the grocery store, reading off ingredients with a sense of urgency, warning us against buying Cheerios and oatmeal, drinking diet sodas, or eating anything that's been genetically modified or conventionally grown. This content preys upon the idea that anything natural is inherently better. That's an idea? Or is it a fact? It's a fact. Inherently better and safer than things manufactured in a lab. That pretty much everything is toxic. Well, it is. And that science is making and keeping us sick for profit. As a parent, my mama bear instinct is activated. Maybe I should steer clear of these things, but as a scientist, I know better. Holy shit. Worried about Cheerios because you saw a social media post about the dangers of chloramiquat, whatever, a plant growth regulator found on imported oats? Well, it wasn't just a post. It was actually a scientific study, Miss Scientist. And she goes on. Well, unless you consume more than 80 boxes of Cheerios per day for the rest of your life, you needn't be. Aspartame, one health agency has classified it as possibly carcinogenic. I think that health agency was the CDC. All right. Putting it in the same risk category as pickled vegetables and aloe vera. Can you believe what I'm reading here? Unless you're drinking dozens of cans of soda every single day, you won't come close to reaching the acceptable daily intake of aspartame. Seed oils don't throw out your canola oil. There is no real-world evidence to support claims that seed oils cause chronic inflammation. Isn't it interesting? We have a profoundly sick population, profoundly ill, with an awful lot of chronic diseases. And this is what you're reading? This is what you read on the Hill? Why are people spreading this kind of misinformation? Look at the dynamics of social media and the attention economy. Fear-mongering is sexy. People respond more strongly to all or none statements about what is good or bad for us. It's easy, it's actionable, and it gives people a sense of control over their health. Well, you shouldn't have a sense of control over your health. You should put it in her hands. What's perhaps even more disappointing is when those who should know better get it wrong and spread misinformation. A recent example is the American Academy of Pediatrics and its position piece on GMO crops and foods. The authors, 3 pediatricians, reject decades of scientific evidence and expert consensus under the guise of advocating for pediatric health. This baseless fear-mongering about the pesticide glyphosate harms public health by discouraging fruit and vegetable consumption, especially among lower-income individuals. Glyphosate, like all things, can be harmful at a certain dose, but not at the levels at which we are exposed through produce consumption, and not even at occupational doses that farm workers are regularly exposed to. How dare this woman write this? Farm workers are known to come down with cancer from glyphosate. Holy shit, I can't believe this. It is so frightening to see how many lying sacks of shit are out there. The American Association of Pediatrics should have reinforced the incredible safety of our food supply and encouraged people to eat more fruits and veggies, not dissuade them from it. Oh my God. Ah. Jessica, an opinion contributor. What a disgusting piece of work she is. Because there are so many studies out there, scientific studies, that have shown the dangers of virtually all of our food now. GMOs, glyphosate, we've known it. I've posted I don't know how many videos on it. And 2024, here you go. Eat up on all of your toxic foods. Give it to your children. Give your children the Cheerios. Oh, I don't. God. Not having a support network is really killing me. This is really... 40% of adults go days without face-to-face interaction. Well, in our hyper-connected world, it may seem like loneliness is a thing of the past. However, a new survey suggests that even in the midst of bustling social lives, many of us are struggling with profound feelings of isolation. 40% have gone at least 3 days without a face-to-face conversation with another person. Even more surprising, 28% reported feeling lonely while at a social event, and a quarter have felt isolated at the workplace. This lonely in a crowd phenomenon seems to hit young adults the hardest, with 60% of those between 18 and 24 reporting feelings of loneliness. What's driving this epidemic of loneliness? Part of the problem may be our reluctance to open up about these feelings. Well, I think the younger generation don't even know how to open up. They don't know how to communicate. And if they're texting and they're staring at their phones, you can't connect. You can't connect on a level that is going to make you feel like you're connected with that individual. You know, and I mean, I had one subscriber who, you know, really just want to communicate through email. And I don't know how to, you're blocked at a certain level. That will never become a friendship. It will never become, you know, the kind of relationship where you're connected with one another. You're just reading words, you know, and we need to look at one another in the eye. We need to hear one another's voices in order to connect. A lot of people don't want to talk about loneliness because there's a stigma attached to it. I don't understand that stigma. There are many reasons why people can't connect with one another and do feel very lonely, even in a crowd. One of the main reasons, people don't know how to be honest with one another. That's how you connect. You know, you put on this mask, you go out into the world, you pretend that you're fine and happy and positive and yada, yada, yada. You can't connect that way. It's not real. And there are an awful lot of Americans who just don't know how to be real. In fact, I'd say most. Keeping emotions bottled up can take a serious toll. The study found that loneliness negatively impacts confidence, anxiety levels, sleep for many people. So we're in big trouble. And human beings are by our very nature social beings, and psychological research asserts that we need to belong, to relate, to each other and feel connected to other people. This is how we survive and thrive. Therefore, feeling disconnected or cut off from quality relationships with others can negatively impact our mental and physical health, something which has been highlighted in the research. Well, I'll post the link to this if you want to read about the research. I don't need the research because, I've lived it, I know it, and I don't understand why other human beings don't know it. You've got to be honest. Without that, you can't build up trust. And trust. Have you ever had real trust in a relationship? Oh, wow, man. It generates such a great feeling. You have trust. It makes you feel like you have someone at your back, someone that you can go to. You go to that person without hesitation. You can talk to them. They can talk to you. It is such a wonderful thing. It is so incredibly precious. I've had it with 2 people in my life. 65 years. 2 people. That's it. And then, the relationships got destroyed. The first one, an intimate relationship, and I destroyed it based on actually telling the truth, but it was, I had an affair. Okay. Not good. And to this day, when I think about that, it hurts. The other one was a friend, and for some reason she just couldn't stop lying. But when that trust was there, I could feel myself healing. When it was betrayed, I was like, holy shit. I felt so alone. Trust can only be built by living honestly and speaking honestly. And I don't know why so many people lie. And a whole lot are just even unaware that they're lying, which is profoundly disconcerting, to say the least. But this is the reason why people can't connect. People aren't real. They pretend to one another. They need the approval. Oh, look, she's got it all together. Oh, look, she's happy. Oh, look, she's so funny. Oh, look, she's so positive. And it's not real. Why are Americans so unhappy? Gee, I wonder. Something is rotten in the state of Denmark. Which is from Hamlet, suggesting moral and political decay. In a ghostly time, America is in a period of internal dissonance. Not quite decay, but something akin to it? No, it is decay. The Hill sucks. The Hill, years ago, used to be good. Now it's full of just crap. America is in a period of internal dissonance. We don't feel like a happy country. And in fact, one of the list of the happiest nations generated by Gallup, America is 23rd this year. Last year we were 15th. Now we're 23rd. That's a huge drop in 1 year. We're behind the United Arab Emirates. Most surprising, the most unhappy demographic is people under 30, which is ironic given their unique understanding of and access to new media. Really? Do you think those under 30 are not seeing they have no future in this country? How happy could they be? No future. And even those who don't see it clearly have a sense that something is very wrong with this world. No matter what age bracket you look at, people are feeling depressed. Well, there's good reason. 1, we are the people of the lie. Nothing good can come from that. 2, everybody, essentially except for those who are wealthy or upper middle class, still have skirted, the consequences of the evil that is taking place. Most are really struggling financially. A whole lot of parents unhappy about the educational system. There's so much going on in this country that can make people feel unhappy. I guess it's because they're just not grateful. Oh, that's right. That's right. Be grateful. Be grateful for everything that hasn't been taken from you yet. Oh, wow. Well, Canadians aren't happy as well. This is the furious mob screaming at Trudeau. He gets this all the time. Glad to see it, but you need every Canadian out there. I don't understand this, Elena Starr. If it can be taken, it wasn't worth having? Can that be explained? The Irish aren't happy. Look, this guy protesting peacefully outside the headquarters of a company that profits from immigration. But he's arrested for it?
He didn't do anything. All right? Let's see the in there. He didn't do anything. Under Section 16. Yeah, hold on. Hey. Arrested for get the last key. Danger in the public place. Okay, it is. It is technology. What's happening with you? I'll show you what I see. Yeah. Seen it. First time down to Jack's. Seen it in the paper. Yeah, like it, but you leave that day for me. Fucking lying. Yeah. What is it? Are you making money out of this? You're making money out of country, of your family. How much do you work at? I can't go work at. It's only a fucking bus where you work at. What do you do? What do you do? What? What do you do? I work in the community group. There you go, yeah. Politics. Yeah. Yeah, are you? No, yeah. Sell out brick with the fucking rest of the What do you work at? Stay on my space now and tell you what. You get things close and see what happens to you. What happens? What? What will happen? Come here to see what happens to you. What will happen? I'm standing here. Yeah. I'm standing here for as long as I want. The police are coming down here, is it? Who? The police are coming down here, is it? Who are the police? Who are the police? Where are the police? Who are the police? Yeah, they are. Give a fuck about you. Liar. A liar. How do you keep saying it? How do you keep saying it? Prove it. Prove it. Making it up that you're there with the...
Alright, I'm going to put the link in. You can watch the entirety. But boy, standing up now is really getting hard. Why? Because an awful lot of people don't. It would be an awful lot easier if everybody did, if the majority did. But remember this, okay? Because this is where we're going.
We'll see definitively a lot of anger already now, but probably increase by the end of the year, because this crisis will be with us until we really have found a remedy. So we have to prepare for a more angry world. We'll see definitively a lot of anger.
Okay, yeah. We're going to see an awful lot of anger. We have to prepare for a more angrier world. This is where they're leading us, and unfortunately, a whole lot of people are following. They're marching orders, and they don't even realize that they got orders. This guy, man who punched a disabled man in Manhattan, may avoid jail time after blaming the attack on his diabetes. I didn't know diabetes led to this. Yeah, Andrew Tabin, blaming his diabetes for sucker punching a 61-year-old Richard Regan, whatever. It gets, I'm sorry for saying whatever, I didn't mean that, but you know, whatever to Carol's brain comes out when she's trying to pronounce a name. It gets worse. So, the victim was forced to undergo brain surgery due to the attack, spent 30 days in the hospital, now lives with frequent seizures. At the time of the attack, he was headed to rehab for his stroke that he suffered a couple years earlier. But Kevin says he's sorry. He's sorry that his diabetes caused the attack. I've suffered diabetes for a very long time. From a very young age, I've had hypoglycemic episodes previously, and I'm so sorry that this has happened. I was reckless. There were no intentions at all. I had no intentions to harm him, but you very well did. He's claiming he didn't fully recall what happened. He faced up to a year in jail, 1 year, for that, but pled guilty to reckless assault in the 3rd degree, which means he gets off with just a slap on the wrist. Diabetes, hypoglycemia. I've had hypoglycemic episodes, and it kind of renders me paralyzed. Not violent. But you can say anything now. The criminals just walk free. You getting sick of it? I'm getting very sick of it. Seriously. Like nauseous from it. Do I even go here? Nah. Let me go here. So, yes, I was sent this article that was an old article. The U.S. military is making lasers that create voices out of thin air. We know this. I've posted on it. We know that an awful lot of people who have been well, I don't know, claiming God told them to shoot people, God told them to kill people, God told them to do whatever. The schizophrenics hearing voices. A whole lot of these people are just victims of evil, purposeful targeting. U.S. military's joint non-lethal weapons program, inching closer. Now, all right, this article was 2018, but there are earlier articles in like 2010. 2008. Oh, the Pentagon is working towards, laser weapons where they can plant voices in people's head. They believe that those voices are theirs. Inching closer to a weapon that alters atoms to literally create words from thin air. It's called the laser-induced plasma effect. And fingers crossed, they hope to be able to say intelligible words within the next 3 years. Fingers crossed. Well, what do you think this is? All of the blue. Doppler radar. Their high frequencies causing a plasma effect. Look at this. Look at this incredible stretch of plasma. Wow. More extremely low frequencies. Boy, I really hope you guys are okay in this area. Because these storms are whipping right on through with what I'm looking at, a destructive speed. So, yes, the weapon is composed of two parts. First, a femtosecond laser which shoots a burst of focused light for 10-15 seconds, just long enough to rip the electrons from air molecules and create a ball of plasma. Sometimes called the fourth state of matter, plasma is a field of electrified gas, highly responsive to electromagnetic effects. The scientists then hit that plasma field with a second nanolaser, tuned to an extremely narrow range of wavelengths. They use that to manipulate the plasma field in a way that can produce light and noise, get the interaction precise enough, and you can get something that sounds like a haunted walkie-talkie. Okay. You can get something that sounds like your voice in your head, and you think it's actually you thinking. We're this close to getting it to speak to us. I need 3 or 4 more kilohertz. How far away can that point be? Range is a function of the optics. The bigger the mirrors, the farther the range. A 5-inch mirror creates the effect about 1 kilometer away, an 8-inch about 5 kilometers. They've created plasmas at 20 or 30 kilometers. This is the first non-lethal weapon that could go out tens of kilometers. The Keir effect, a term that refers to minute changes in the refractive index as a result of electromagnetic field changes, makes it actually easier to create the effect at a distance. I'll put the link in But, oh, there has been so much. Mainstream media has reported on this. Popular Mechanics, the Pentagon mimicking human speech with lasers is the creepiest thing you'll hear all week. New York Post, talking lasers that beam messages to our ears in the works. Pentagon report investigated lasers that put voices in your head. And still we have so many people who are hearing those voices, and please, if you are, do not go to a psychiatrist. You'll be hospitalized, you'll be diagnosed as schizophrenic, and your life will be ruined. Do not go to law enforcement thinking that law enforcement is going to help you. Speak to somebody that has knowledge of targeting, or someone who is targeted, but do not go to law enforcement and do not go to a psychiatrist. And whatever that voice is telling you to do, don't do it. Don't do it. So, first human case of avian flu in Texas raises alarm. Oh my God. Potential cow-to-cow avian flu transmission in Idaho. God, I am really super tired. Texas dairy worker tested positive for the avian flu, marking the first identified human case of an illness in the U.S. that has sickened cattle across several states over the past few weeks. The infection, only the second human case of avian flu ever recorded in the country, is worrying public health experts who for decades have cautioned that avian flu could pose a serious threat. All right, we've got Ebola, we've got avian flu, we still have COVID, we've got disease X that, well, we could be actually coming up to that here. Gert van den Bausch, ooh boy, a Belgian virologist, said on Friday on James Howard Kunstler's podcast, what I am predicting is a massive, massive tsunami of illness and death among this populations with dysregulated immune systems. But he also said it happened with the Ebola, the Ebola stopping product in Africa. So if you do this on a very large scale, that's what happens, and the truth will surface. Well, I'm afraid the hive mind has just been cemented in people, whether they got that product or not. That hive mind, they can drive that into people's brains using electromagnetic frequencies. But a whole lot of people, the truth matters nothing to them. Nothing. And they don't, having spoken to subscribers, they don't seem to care about they don't want it. They don't want it. Even when their friends are dying of cancer in their 20s, they don't want to know that it might have been that new product that their friends got and they didn't. But their mother is trying to calm them because they're afraid they're going to die of cancer. So the mother says, but it's because of that new product. And her daughter won't believe it. In their 20s, suddenly coming down with 4th stage colon cancer? Well, he believes disease X is the next thing we're looking at. So, I mean, there's no real preparation for this. The people who, are still rah-rah, new product, will always be. You might be able to get 1 or 2 people to actually listen to you about what is taking place, but, it's kind of like the sides have been picked, drawn, and unfortunately, there will be a lot of people who will still comply. Even those who know, they're going to comply because there's not a lot of people that have any courage whatsoever. Sorry for the harsh message, but somebody needs to tell the truth. Yeah. I'll post the link if you care to read on and circulate. But so, of course, I mean, anything could happen and nothing could happen. April 8th. We've lived this. We lived, a lot of people, look, we don't know what we're being set up for. But with all of the hoopla around April 8th, I have to wonder, mainstream media is creating a lot of this hoopla, right? And it's just going to draw people. It'll capture their attention and they'll want to go. So they're amassing huge crowds in the line of totality. My God. Could there be a biological attack? Yes, we've had them already. It's not a surprise. Could there be, the taking down of the grid? Absolutely. Could it not be a solar eclipse? And they're testing their simulation on darkening the skies? Absolutely. Could it create earthquakes? The solar eclipse? Absolutely. With electromagnetic frequencies in use. Could they be deciding to carve up the New Madrid fault line? Remember years ago we were talking about the splitting of the United States? The New Madrid earthquake could do that. Remember that U.S. Navy map? A river right through the middle of the United States? You cannot think small. Not with what we're living, not with what we've seen, not with what we know, what they're capable of. This kind of evil needed to be brought to a dead stop the minute it reared its head. And that was a whole long time ago. Well, things could happen on the 8th. Maybe it'll be the 10th. Maybe it'll be the 15th. We can guarantee one thing. We're going to have big events. big events take place, and they need plausible deniability for resetting the financial system. They need a really big event for that. They want people dead and gone. Biological attack. They want people suffering. Take down the grid. God, I wish we weren't living this. But we are. We flippin' are. I'm going to put JW's link in the chat. And his video is April 8th, Emergency Biological Release Plan You Need to Know. And I'm going to play this. This was sent to me by a subscriber. Major events surrounding the April 8th solar eclipse. There's a reason why. And it's not the person who has posted the video. It's not, the person who's narrating the video. It's not for any other reason, but I don't understand how it is that people could think God would actually want suffering in a horrendous way. It ain't my God.
The solar eclipse on April 8th is becoming a major event. The National Guard is being deployed, and the people are being advised to have 2 weeks of food and to fill their fuel tanks. This could all be explained due to the fact that tens of thousands of visitors are expected along the path of totality. But many people believe that they could be preparing for possible earthquakes due to the Devil Comet aligning with the April 8th eclipse, and due to the fact that in 1811, a comet also appeared in the skies during a solar eclipse on the same path and was followed by the biggest earthquakes in American history. Known as the New Madrid earthquakes, around 10,000 earthquakes occurred in just 3 months' time, the biggest being measured at 8.8 magnitude. They were the most devastating series of earthquakes in recorded history. But it was a different comet, and while some claim that a solar eclipse can trigger earthquakes, this scenario seems unlikely. This eclipse season is, however, a very rare event. The recent eclipses in August of 2017 and October of 2023, along with the upcoming one on April 8th, forms an Aleph and a Tav over the United States. The Aleph and Tav are the first and last letters of the Hebrew alphabet, the Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end. These eclipses mark the end of the great year, a 26,000-year period that starts anew with the dawning of Aquarius and a new golden age. Manly P. Hall wrote that high-level Masons designed America for a peculiar and particular purpose, a secret destiny to bring about a new Atlantis, or a new world order, wherein a king descended of a divine race will rule over all. In rituals, this king is symbolized as Apollo, Horus, or Nimrod, the father of Freemasonry, and is thought to be a descendant of the biblical Nephilim, or the Sumerian Anunnaki. According to Thomas Horn, this will happen in 2025, which corresponds to several documents published by intelligence agencies, such as Global Governance 2025, Global Trends 2025, and the 2025 Deagle Forecast on World Population. NASA is notorious for performing Masonic rituals based on the Egyptian mystery schools, Apollo being the same character as Horus, Sirius representing Isis, and Atlantis being the new golden age they hope to restore. And during the eclipse on April 8th, NASA will fire 3 rockets named after Apep, the Egyptian serpent god, whose goal was to devour Ra, the sun. And when the sun reemerges after 3 minutes of darkness, it will be likened to the rebirth of Horus, their new king of the Golden Age. CERN, known for practicing occult rituals at a statue of Shiva, the Hindu god who symbolizes death, destruction, and the end of an age, will be firing up their Large Hadron Collider to full power during the solar eclipse. And Israel, who is in the midst of committing genocide, is preparing to sacrifice a red heifer, a ritual sacrifice to prepare them for taking back the Temple Mount.
Red heifers, to be precise. Some Jews and Christians believe they're the key to rebuilding the historic Jewish temple in Jerusalem and to beckoning the Messiah. To understand, you have to go back nearly 2,000 years when the ancient Romans destroyed the last temple in the city. To rebuild it, these believers point to the Bible's book of Numbers. It commands the Israelites to sacrifice a red heifer without defect or blemish, and that has never been under a yoke. Only then can the temple rise again. Those sacred cows were showcased in Washington at a recent prayer gathering. Many evangelicals believe these red heifers will usher Christ's second coming.
And we need the Messiah to come, right? So for me, the red heifer is red for the blood of Jesus Christ.
A massive altar already awaits, where the heifers are to be burned. According to some believers, the ceremony needs to be performed right here on the Mount of Olives, looking directly into where the temple once stood. But something else now stands in its place.
Once they forcibly take the Temple Mount away from billions of Muslims worldwide, it will predictably thrust the world into the peak of chaos that these secret societies have been designing for centuries. And their plan is to bring order out of this chaos, with their divine king to rule over the world. But these are just rituals, and fear is an illusion. We can always choose love. Reporting for InfoWars.
Well, I even say, forget about love. How about just choose respect? Because a lot of people say, oh, love. Nate, I mean, a whole lot of people don't love, you know, all the people that they claim to love. Love is something, it's a force that kind of takes you over. That it is just so, moves you into a whole new reality that it's something so precious. But we need respect, for sure. Respect, you know. But how is it that so many people just, wow, you're going to burn a cow to regain the Temple Mount or whatever? See, the evil of religions is really kind of in our face now, huh? So, I have one more video. I'll play this for a few minutes and then wrap it up.
Ladies and gentlemen, listen to what's about to happen on April 8th of 2024. First of all, CERN is going to be starting up their Hadron Collider to collide two atoms to produce what they're looking for, called the God particle. Not only that, NASA is launching rockets into the eclipse, and they call the mission after an Egyptian serpent deity.
One of CERN's goals is to recreate Jacob's Ladder and to reopen a portal that is said to have existed between Earth, Mars, Venus, and Saturn when the planets were in alignment many years ago. CERN are pretty sure that other dimensions do, and they're making it their goal to ensure that they open the portal for their use. Who knows? out of this door might come something, or we might send something through it. Now, prophecy in numerous parts of the Bible refer to a coming day when portals will be opened and spiritual entities are going to pass through and come to the earth.
CERN is dealing with radionuclear research. But it is more than that, because there are lots of physicians, I know some, they're doing very strange experimentation. There are beings from portals coming in and out. It's physicists from the CERN who told me this.
They've testified to beings coming in and out of portals.
Yes. They have apparently in the bottom of the CERN this portal, this door where they are dealing with all the subatomic dimensions. They say there are 17 different dimensions of reality. That's what those physicists say. Some others say there are more dimensions, And now, when you look at what is going on in the CERN, there is a fight from some of the military agencies. Intel, they say that there is a fight on time. They're trying to change time.
What the
CERN invented the World Wide Web. It's called www, and in Hebrew, W is 6, so www is 666. The Google quantum computer that powers CERN, the Google Chrome logo is now 666. And you say, what? Microsoft has a patent, W02020060606, for a cryptocurrency system using body activity. So the Mark of the Beast technology, they literally decided to name it W02020060606 for a cryptocurrency system using body activity.
AI doesn't have to be evil to destroy humanity. If AI has a goal and humanity just happens to be in the way, it will destroy humanity as a matter of course, without even thinking about it. No hard feelings. It's just like if we're building a road and an anthill happens to be in the way, we don't hate ants. We're just building a road. And so goodbye, anthill.
And so goodbye, anthill. Hey, Inspired Tribe, my fellow freedom lovers. John Nolan here. Thank you so much for tuning in to another Inspired live stream. It is Monday, April 1st, 2024, April Fool's Day, and we really don't need any April Fool's jokes. Reality is strange enough. It is ironic enough. It is woke enough. It is everything enough. And I think all jokes pale in comparison with our current state of reality. We're healthy, we're wealthy, we're whole, we're free. That's the mantra of the Inspired live stream. I want to welcome everybody on Rumble, on X, and on YouTube. Again, thank you for tuning in from all over the world. This is a little compilation of clips that sort of, showed a few different perspectives about CERN and the CERN activity. It's been much talked about in the last years, of course, and in many different contexts. And what I'm always amazed at is I didn't really go too far out there to hear commentators talk about it. I actually went and looked at some statements made by the CERN scientists themselves, including one that said we could destroy the universe. We don't know what the hell we're doing. Now, we're going to get to those statements, and we're going to break down what CERN does officially, how much money it costs, and the strange things that these people are actually saying.
I will post the link. You can watch this in the entirety. In its entirety, yeah. We have an awful lot of things happening in our world today. It's very exciting, isn't it? So much to look forward to. And yeah, I have to say, with those people who are just saying, bring it on already, it gets so repetitive, even though You know, there's some details are different. The place might be different. It's the same old, every single day. And unfortunately, it's the same old, just of destruction. You know, bad stuff. Shit. So that's why, you know, in that video, Martin Luther King Jr., the favorite quote of that person was, "We need creative extremists. Evil is not creative. Evil just destroys. And destruction, when you have the weapons, is easy. It's easy. Creating is far more challenging. Creating something that is is beautiful, creating health and welfare, trust. You know, creating trust in a relationship is such a wonderful, wonderful thing. But it's so easy to destroy, right? All you have to do is inject a lie. Boom, destroyed. Now that trust can be repaired, but you have to have the two people willing to work on what fractured the trust. And if you don't have that, then it's gone. It's gone. I meant to, didn't work
The
out.
CERN scientists themselves, including one that said we could destroy.
So could they destroy the world? Absolutely. Absolutely. You know, no problem there. They have all of the weapons to do it. And, my God. And, yeah, do any of you think, are these people even human? Well, we know they're subhuman, that's for sure. They're not so taken over by perhaps their religion, which is Satanism, which we know. And try to have a conversation about somebody's beliefs, and very hard to get people to reevaluate those beliefs, or to even understand where they came from, how they got them. But respect is desperately needed. No, unfortunately, laughing at evil does not destroy it. We'd like to think it does, but it doesn't. It may even get them more pissed, and then they get even more evil. Yeah, well, if they have souls, Marcia, I'm not even sure. It just seems I cannot, you know, I've tried to put myself in the shoes of people that behave in certain ways that I wouldn't even think to behave. Like it's just not on my radar. So you try to understand them. And I don't anymore. I've gotten to a point where I'm just kind of living in my own head, and I don't like that. But you get to hear some of what's going on in my head for the 2 hours that I'm here. So yeah, bring your best self to life. Bring your creative self to life. help people, respect people, and most important thing that we do, we live honestly and we speak honestly. And we think about what we're doing so we don't hurt other sentient beings. Four-leggeds, two-leggeds. So, be safe, and thank you for showing up, and I hope to see you tomorrow night. You guys, good luck, good night, and good luck. Ciao.